Hi guys, Pax at Bonum. So today we are going to talk about selection tools. So I want to start this one by showing you this learning competencies. So today we will differentiate selection tools with respect to their purpose, and we will determine appropriate selection tools to use in given cases. Our values competency is to evaluate and reflect on any work done before taking further actions. For the 21st century skill, critical thinking and problem solving, solve different kinds of non-familiar problems, both conventional and innovative ways. Now guys, have you seen posts in different social medias like this? You know, a person wanting to be edited in a certain way. Like, let me read this one. Hey, FJamie013, can you please adjust this picture in order to make me look as if I am holding that cliff? Thanks. And so what the guy FJamie013 did is this one. Okay, so if you can see, well, it seems like she's holding the cliff, but her arms is, it was entirely moved. Well, posts like these are meant to be funny. The owners, they, in a way, they are allowing people to troll them, but of course, like what we have talked about last time, there must be permission from the person on the image if we are going to edit them in a certain way, because like we have talked about, we have to uphold the human dignity of the person. But in cases like these, wherein these people know that the outcome will be hilarious, then I guess it's okay. So what happened here? How did the arm move from this place to this place? So definitely a photo editing software was used, and the arm was actually selected, and then it was moved downward. But you may ask me, sir, if we will move the arms, so what will happen to the pixels in this area? So what may happen is the area where the original arm occupies will either be black or white depending on the background of the editing software, or if the editor uses copy and paste, then there will be two arms. Now you may again have a follow-up question, sir. How come on the image here on the right, there's no second, or the original arm is not there? So what the editor did is he moved the arm, so he cut it, he placed it downward, leaving the area black or white, and then this is where the retouching tools come in. So most probably the editor, FJamie013, he cloned the C and replaced where the hole is. And then on these parts, he also used cloning. If not cloning, most probably healing, but in my honest opinion, it will be cloning, because if you can see the details, there are two black areas here. Now this part, it almost looks like this one. If you use a healing brush tool, it won't look that way because colors will be meshed together. But if you use a clone stamp tool, rather, if you use a clone stamp tool, pixels will be copied as is. So that's what we are going to do today. And to select parts of an image, we use several tools. So I've listed here the tools we are going to talk about in Photoshop and its equivalent in GIMP. So for Photoshop, we have the rectangular marquee and elliptical marquee tool. Its equivalent in GIMP is rectangle select and ellipse select. Later on, I will show you and I will demonstrate how to use them. We also have the magic wand and its equivalent fuzzy select. We also have the lasso tool and free select. And then lastly, we have the magnetic lasso and the scissors select. There are other selection tools that you can use, but we are not going to focus on them. We are only going to focus on the basic and necessary tools that you will need in editing. So what does each tool do exactly? Let me show you by demonstrating. I have Photoshop here. I also have GIMP here. Wait. I also have GIMP there. I've already preloaded an image. Maybe I'll send this in Schoology. You may also use this image to edit. I want you to do what I am doing so that you will have a first-hand experience in using these selection tools. Okay, let's head over to Photoshop first. Head over to the toolbar. Click on this one. That is our rectangular marquee. So rectangular marquee. Wait, let me just adjust. So I will zoom in a bit. So rectangular marquee places a rectangle on the canvas with dashed lines as bounds. So what this means is once you make a selection, the bounds dictate what can be copied. So anything inside will be copied. So if I hit Control C, it's copy, and then I paste it, that area was copied already. You may check by using the move tool. You just drag and you will see where the rectangular marquee was used, the items were copied. But of course, you have to Control C and Control V, copy paste, to take effect. In GIMP, it's this one, rectangle select. So basically the same concept. You just click, drag, you copy, and then you paste. You use the move tool to place it on a different location. If you are going to, wait, I forgot to mention that when you paste, when you copy and then you paste, a new portion of layers will be added. But the lesson about this will be for next time. So what's important to remember here is that if we are going to use selection tools, the original layer where all of the items are located must be selected. If you will use this one, I will just hide the original. This layer only has that certain portion where you copied from. If I hide the other one, well, what you've pasted will be invisible. So going back, I will select this, and then I will use again the rectangular marquee. So I will select, no, let me use the other one. Let's use the elliptical marquee. So I will try to select this sun. So you do this by clicking and dragging. So it will make an ellipse. To keep the ellipse in the proper ratio as a circle, you may hold shift. And then if you want to move the bounding circle, while holding shift, you may also hold the space bar. So when you are holding the space bar, you can move the selection. So you can try practicing holding the shift and the space bar, releasing the space bar, will again, while still holding shift, will let you adjust the circular bounds. So let's try this one. Yeah, I think, well, it's a bit large, but a tiny bit lang. So I will release now. So a selection is made. Now I will use the move tool without copy and pasting. So if I move this, it will actually cut the area. And then remember what I said earlier, the selected area, if you move it, it will either be black or white depending on the background of the tool or the application. In this case, the background color that I have is blue. So the cut part was made into blue. So if we will move it again, we can place it back, but the problem is it won't be in its original form. It's going to be hard to move it back. So what we can do is undo. There. So again, to use the circular, or not circular, but elliptical marquee, you just click, drag, hold shift, spacebar for movement. So you just adjust, and you really have to practice to master this tool. So now I will try to copy and paste. So if you can see, a new layer was added. So now I have two suns. Now let's move to GIMP. So it's also the same concept. Click, drag, hold shift, but spacebar is not working here, so you really have to be careful when starting your selection. Copy, paste, and then move. Now for another tool, I guess it's Magic Wand. Okay, Magic Wand. In Photoshop, this is the Magic Wand. Okay. Let me zoom in. So look at the sun. I will use the magic tool on the sun. If I click the inner circle, look at what will happen. Wait, I'm on the wrong layer here. So look at what will happen. I click once, and then a bounding box or a bounding circle was made. I'll click again, this time around on the outer circle. Look at what happened. I will click outside, I will just zoom out. I will click outside, I will click on the blue sky. Look at what happened. So what do you think the Magic Wand does? The Magic Wand selects areas where the colors are similar and contiguous. Sunod, magkakaparehas. Like in the inner circle, since they all have almost the same colors. So once I click, all colors related to the first or initial selection will be selected. And so I will try to copy and paste. I've already created that selection using the Magic Wand. In GIMP, that is this one, Fuzzy Select. So I will try to, wait, let me zoom in. I'll try to copy the barn. So I will select this one, and most of the color red is selected, not all of them. You can edit the like here, the threshold, you can edit this to increase what is being selected. In Photoshop, we have here tolerance. If you increase this, the larger colors that is almost the same as the original sample will be selected. So going back to GIMP, I've increased the threshold. I will copy this and then I will paste and move. So there. Let me zoom out. Okay. So another tool is, I think, the lasso tool. The lasso tool is, for me, the most used and most powerful tool that may be used to select. The lasso tool works like a pen. So you can manually select objects or pixels. Let's say I want to copy this chicken. No, not the chicken. It's a bit hard. Yeah, the corn field. The corn. No, sige, the chicken na lang, the chicken. What I will do is I will follow the bounds of the chicken to make a selection. So I will start now. I will click and drag and follow its outline or the chicken's outline. I do apologize, it won't be as straight or it won't be as good as I want it to be. But yeah, I think I'm doing an okay job. Now, once finished, you will see that the chicken is copied. Let me copy and paste. Oh, wrong layer. Now, you will notice there is a portion here which should not be copied as well. So in cases like these, you may use the eraser tool. Okay, let me just change the hardness. I'll put it to 0 so that it won't have any gradient effects. And then you can just delete the unnecessary parts. Now I forgot to mention, if you use selection tools, let's say you are manually selecting using the lasso tool, and then somehow you've made an error, you accidentally released, so it will automatically connect to the first dot that you've created. Essentially, the selection is not complete. So what we can do in this case is we hit the keyboard shift, and then you will see that the cursor will have a plus sign. It means that you can add other selections. Something like that. Again, I will press shift. I will add some selections. There. So what if you've made an addition which you do not want? How can you remove that from the selection? You may press and hold Alt, and then you select the items that you do not want to be added. There. In GIMP, it's this one, free select tool. The free select tool, like the lasso tool, will let you manually select from your canvas. Oh, in GIMP, sometimes this happens. After releasing the last point will not end the selection, but rather You have to find where the initial dot was made and click on that to end the selection. Now if your hands are not very steady, we can also use the magnetic lasso. The magnetic lasso works like, I'll just add, to deselect, you may right click and select deselect, or I think you can use the shortcut Control D. Oh, not S. Control D to deselect. Let's check if GIMP also employs that shortcut. Nah, no. It's Control A. Yeah. In GIMP, it's Control A to deselect. In Photoshop, it's Control D. Going back to the magnetic lasso, it works like a lasso tool, but the magnetic lasso, the good thing about this is it sticks to the bounds of an object or a selection. It checks the foreground and the background. So let's try it here on the corn. So I will start here, and then I will try to work on the sides. So if you will notice, the selection, it's curling a bit because it's looking for something to hold on to. If it doesn't hold on to something, you can manually press click to set where it should land. But essentially, what it does is it tries to cling on the sides, and of course it will check the foreground and the background if it has contrasting colors, because if not, it won't be able to latch onto something. So something like that. To end it manually, you can double click, or you can just go back to the original dot and click on it. Its equivalent in GIMP is the scissor tool. However, it works a bit differently. Wait, let me just find where the scissor tool is. Here. It works a bit differently. Unlike in Photoshop, where you have to drag and you will let it cling onto the sides, the scissors tool, you will drag all the way where you want to end, and then you release, and it will find its own way. Like here. So it will try to find its own path. You just have to click and point where you want to end. So in a way, GIMP has a better latching tool, a latching selection tool than Photoshop. But like I've said, it's still better to use the lasso tool. For me, it's still the most powerful because you can control where the selection will go. Unlike here, it's very unpredictable. We don't know where the computer will make selections. So therefore, lasso tool, for me, still has the upper hand compared to the scissors or the magnetic lasso tool. What else? Let me double check. Okay, so we've covered the different selection tools that you can use. Rectangular and elliptical, that's for the basic shapes. Magic wand is used to select similar colors. Lasso tool, manually selecting. And then magnetic lasso, similar to lasso tool, it's semi-automatic, semi-manual. It checks for contrasting colors. Whichever has a contrasting color will be made a selection. So right now, we will do an activity. I want you to check our Schoology for the image file of this. So what you will do is, you will use different selection tools to copy areas of this image, and then you will create a face or a head made out of vegetables. So if you will notice, based on the output, the background of the different items are not present. So you really have to use the proper selection tools. So after making a selection, all you have to do is copy and then paste, and you move to its proper place. Let me show you how you will, or let me show you the file which you will work on. So after downloading the file, Activity 4.1, you just load it in Photoshop. So this is what I'm talking about. What you will do is, you use a selection tool. For example, this one. You make a selection. Make sure that the background or the original layer is selected. You copy, you paste, and then you move it to this side. So again, the expected output is a veggie head. So please start with the activity.